Hey guys, it's CalebBake01 back again for another random horror review, and for today's episode, bringing you a more so disturbing slash grotesque film for you guys today. And as dark and gross and gnarly and brutal as this movie is, it's actually part of a trilogy that is sort of cemented itself in pop culture. And if you're a horror fan, I feel like you definitely would have at least heard of this one, if not seen it. And even if you're not, you would have just heard about this movie through word of mouth, or maybe you just had to check it out for yourself. But either way, let's get this review started. Today's episode is The Human Centipede Part 2. I'm actually a little bit unsure about how I'm going to go about today's review, only because obviously the subject matter with this movie, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say on YouTube, so fuck it, I'm just going to try and do it like I normally do, maybe just tiptoe around some of the deeper details. So let's get into the plot. So this one, our main character is Martin, who is obviously deeply disturbed, and he's just mentally not right as well, and he is obsessed with the first Human Centipede film. So in this one, it's tried to be played off more realistic, with the first film being an actual movie and within this movie. As I said, he's obsessed with it, and it sort of motivates him to make his own Human Centipede, put something together, and he sort of wants to up the ante. He wants to add more people, and just, yeah, I'm going to sort of leave it there, because as I said, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to say. If you are really that interested, I don't know, I guess Google it yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you, because for those who just do struggle with more gross, hard to hear about shit, viewer discretion, because it is pretty brutal. But either way, let's get into my thoughts on this film now. So firstly, I just want to say I am aware that this isn't the grossest film ever, or the most disturbing, or the darkest. I'm not trying to claim that. I know that there's worse. I have seen worse. I've probably got worse on my shelf. But yeah, this movie is hard to get through. This was actually my third time seeing it, and now that I say that out loud, I've seen this movie way too many times. I don't know why I've seen this movie 3 times. But the first 2 times I seen it, I watched it online just purely because, as I said in my intro, I just had to see it to believe it. Through word of mouth, I just heard what it was, and I'm like, I need to fucking see that. But this was my first time watching it on a physical media, and it doesn't say anywhere on here that it is uncut, but I just feel like there was some stuff this time around that just made this movie so much worse, and I just was like, how do I not remember this being in it the first few times I seen it? Because, yeah, this was the toughest sitting for this movie that I had seen so far. This was a struggle to get through. When it comes to gore in movies and violence and everything, I am okay, I'm alright with seeing blood and guts and, monsters and people being sliced up. I'm okay with that. But when it comes to the more so gross, exploitive sort of things, in this case, people eating things that they shouldn't be, and some of the more taboo stuff along those lines, when it comes to that stuff in movies, it's not really my thing. So if it really just comes down to preference, or more so tolerance for what you're able or willing to see in a film. But for me, I'd prefer not to watch movies like this, but I do, because I'm a horror fan. I don't know. I actually prefer the first Human Centipede film, and when I say prefer it, I actually also think it is a better movie than a lot of people would say it is, because the first movie, I think it just gets this rap of being like, oh, it's just, because of the context of this movie, like what it's about. A lot of people would just be like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. The first movie actually isn't that bad, and I feel like it just, as I said, just gets lumped into this category of being overly brutal and overly exploitive, which I feel like the first one really isn't. But that's where it comes into the background for this film. So if you're unaware, the director Tom Six, he made the first movie, and obviously word got out before it was even released what it was about, and people were so hyped to see it, and they just had to see it to believe it. And when they finally got a taste of the first movie, pun not intended, when they first got the taste of the first movie, they were fans of the film, were like, this is not what we expected. We expected something so much worse, so much grosser and gnarly, and this is not what we wanted. So when he came back to do the second film, he went, you want gnarly? I'm going to give you gnarly. And he went all out for this one. So it's pretty much the fans getting what they wanted and then going, no, this is too much, because this is a huge step up from the first one. And, you know, I'm probably looking at this film a lot deeper than what I probably should be, but when I was watching it this time around, I sort of saw Martin as fans of the trilogy, you know, saying, oh, we want more, and then getting more, because in this movie, he, as I said, he watches the first film and he wants to do it again, but bigger and worse, and he wants more. And in the end, he sort of gets more for what he bargained. So I'm probably looking at it too critically and reading a little bit too much into it, but that's what I took away this time around. But yeah, this movie just extremely brutal. Shot in black and white. I actually like that approach to it. I feel like it doesn't really need colour. And I'm not sure if this is just a rumour or not, but I think I heard they had to shoot it in black and white because of how gnarly it was. I'm not, as I said, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but yeah, I really don't know how to go from here. This is a hard watch to get through. So I'm going to sort of leave the review here today, only because this is a hard plot to talk about on YouTube, and also, you know, it's not really a film you can pick apart and analyse. You know, I already said I probably went deeper into it than what most people would. I think the main things to pull away is this film, I feel like it's not smut for the sake of having smut. As in, you know, he was trying to tell a story with the first one and people wanted more. And he said, if you want more, I'm going to give you more. And that is the birth of this movie. You know, I think he just wanted to push the boundaries of what a type of film like this could be. And in a way, I oddly respect it for that. But again, it all just comes down to tolerance. I would prefer to not watch people eat gross things and, you know, go overly disgusting with what I'm watching. You know, I can watch gore, as I said, I can watch people being sliced up. But when it comes to this, it's not really something I would just chuck on for the sake of chucking on. But as I said, I oddly respect this one. With a rating, I am going to give this one... I'm going to give this one a 6. I don't know, like, it's oddly high, but I feel like it's right. As I said, I respect this movie. It is shot not bad. The black and white gives it this little bit extra. As I said, I actually do like that it's in black and white. The story isn't bad. You know, the effects aren't bad either. There's a lot of things here that, you know, are pros, but it just comes down to tolerance and what you can have yourself sit through. So for the Human Centipede Part 2, I'm going to give it a 6. You know, if you really do want to be, you know, into the trilogy and sort of dip your toes into what they are, I would recommend the first film. That's a no-brainer. You know, most people do watch the first ones before the sequels, but I definitely feel that, like, the first one is the best movie. The third one is fucking terrible, and I don't just mean for what the movies are about. It's just genuinely bad. But, you know, if you watch the first one and you feel like you can handle some more, yeah, maybe do check this one out. But as I said, it all just comes down to tolerance, what you can put yourself through. And again, I don't want to, you know, be claiming and pushing this film as, like, the gnarliest film ever. I know it's not. It definitely isn't. It's not in the top 10, but... for me, it's just something I'd prefer not to just watch whenever and leisurely. So I'm going to leave today's review there. But thank you for sitting through this one today with me, guys. There was a lot of tiptoeing about some touchy subject matter and what this film involves. But thank you for sticking around if you are to this point. I would appreciate everyone who is not yet subscribed, subscribing or liking my videos, dropping some comments. Let me know your thoughts on this movie, and maybe if you do enjoy this one more than you probably should, or something like that. But thank you again for joining me, guys, and I'll see you guys soon for some more content. Thanks.